So this is going to be a more in-depth review of the individual radio head. So this is the radio head that is left side of the patient compartment, aft facing, so you're directly behind the patient flying. So this radio head is going to control both your headset and whoever is in the tech seat, or if you were sitting in both seats, this is the control head that you will use to manipulate your radio frequencies and volumes. So again, this is your selector knob. 1 through 5 is what we're going to use primarily. 1 and 2 are going to be for the pilots for the tower and air-to-air or things like that. We're really not going to use those unless we're in an emergency and we need to make a call to a tower or local area traffic in a situation with an incapacitated pilot. Channel 3 is again going to be that top line on your Marcs radio head. So whatever that's set to, which should always be XCC air. Channel 4 is going to be the hospital that you're trying to call, or fire department, or whatever operational frequency you're going to use for that specific mission. And then 5, you're never going to see on the individual Marcs radio head, that is Iris. So if you hear them talking on Iris, it's just a type of a backup radio frequency that they're going to use, and that's going to be on number 5. So if you can't get out on any of these 2 to ops, you can always try 5, which would be Iris, as a backup. The only big difference with Iris is you're not going to hear the chirp like you would if it was a Marcs radio key up. Your first 5 buttons on the top are going to be your volume knobs for these 5 frequencies. So right now number 3 is illuminated because I'm on number 3. If I were to change this to number 4, that green light would bounce over to number 4. That's just indicating to me what channel I have selected on the Marcs radio that I'm going to call out on if I push the push to talk button. If you are talking to ops on channel 3 and you're getting a lot of feedback from the tower or from local area traffic, you can turn these 2 volumes down and you can turn the volume up on whatever frequency you're trying to talk on. So if you're calling radio report and you're on channel 4 and you are talking to Akron General and there's UH and us are communicating because we're both trying to land at Akron General at the same time, you can turn these down so you can focus on what you are trying to do by calling radio report to Akron General. So all of these are going to be individual volume controls for the individual frequencies that you are listening to. So this is roughly how they should look day to day. 3, 4, and 5 should just be a little bit higher than 1 and 2 because you do want to be aware of what's going on around you, but they don't need to be as loud. On this volume control, so you have your ICS and then your overall volume. So your ICS is going to be the outer knob, and your overall volume is going to be the inner part of the knob that rotates. So you can set those independently as well for ICS versus your radio frequency. If you can see, the side of this is slightly pushed out more than this one, so these buttons do push in. If the button is pushed in, it's inactive. So all of these buttons are popped out. That means that you are listening to those frequencies. If you wanted to completely shut off air-to-air or tower, you can push these in and that will shut it off so you won't hear it at all. But routinely, this whole top row should be pushed out, as well as your Vox. If you push this in, it's going to shut your Vox off completely and you won't be able to communicate with the other crew members. Your call isolation button right here, if there's a green light in this corner, it indicates that the pilots have isolated you and they cannot hear you talk. You don't have to lean up and touch them or tap their side if you don't want to. You can just push this button. It's going to make a loud beep in your headset as well as theirs, and it lets them know that you need to talk to them. This PTT, push to talk or permission to transmit, whatever you want to call it, that is the same as pushing the button on the side of your box that your helmet's plugged into. So if I'm on 3 and I want to talk to XCC Air, I don't have to reach behind me and hit the button on my box. I can just push this button and it's going to key up just like it would as if I was talking on my portable or if I was pushing the button on the side of my helmet.